There's a moment, maybe you've felt it, when the words leave your mouth and you immediately wish you could pull them back. But they're already out there, hanging in the air like smoke you can't unsee. Your own mouth has betrayed you. Niccolò Machiavelli understood this human frailty better than most. He wrote about the delicate dance of power, the subtle art of influence, and most importantly, the devastating cost of speaking without thinking. Today, we're going into the shadows of human communication, those 10 situations where your tongue becomes your greatest enemy. But this isn't really about Machiavelli, is it? This is about you, about me. About every time we've opened our mouths and let our deepest wounds, our childhood programming, our desperate need for validation spill out into the world. Picture this. You're in a heated argument. Your pulse is racing. Your childhood wounds are screaming. Maybe it's your partner, your boss, your parent, someone who knows exactly which buttons to press. And suddenly the words come pouring out. Not the measured response you planned, not the mature discussion you intended, but the raw, unfiltered voice of every hurt you've ever carried. Machiavelli warned that anger makes us predictable, but what he didn't say, what perhaps he couldn't say, is that anger makes us authentic in the most dangerous way possible. When we're angry, we speak our truth. The problem is, our truth is often built on pain. Your mouth betrays you because it reveals what you've been hiding, even from yourself. There's something intoxicating about finding someone who really gets you. Whether it's alcohol loosening your tongue, or just the rare gift of feeling understood, suddenly you're sharing secrets you swore you'd take to the grave. The childhood trauma, the family dysfunction, the dreams you're too afraid to chase. In that moment of connection, it feels like healing, like finally being seen. But connection without boundaries is just another form of bleeding. And some people, Machiavelli knew this well, are collectors of secrets, not healers of souls. Your vulnerability becomes their weapon. We've all been there, in the middle of an argument, losing ground, and suddenly we reach for the nuclear option. That thing we promised we'd never say, that weakness they shared with us in trust, that insecurity they've battled their whole life. Machiavelli wrote about the art of war, but he never prepared us for the war within ourselves, the battle between our need to be right and our capacity to be loving. When winning becomes more important than connection, your mouth betrays not just them, but the person you thought you were. Here's a peculiar human tendency. We'll guard our secrets from those closest to us, then spill them to virtual strangers. Social media, new acquaintances, anyone who might offer us the validation we're starving for. There's something about unfamiliar faces that makes us believe our truth will finally be appreciated. That this time someone will hear our story and offer the acceptance we've been seeking since childhood. But strangers aren't invested in your healing. They're voyeurs in your pain. Success is a strange drug. It makes us believe our own mythology. Suddenly, we're sharing strategies, revealing our methods, broadcasting our advantages to anyone who will listen. We mistake our temporary position for permanent superiority. Machiavelli understood that today's ally is tomorrow's competitor. But more than that, he understood something deeper about human nature. We have an almost pathological need to be acknowledged for our intelligence, our strategy, our specialness. Pride doesn't just come before the fall. Pride is the mouth that betrays you on the way down. Whether it's romantic passion or passionate disagreement, intense emotions have a way of stripping away our filters. In bed, we whisper things we'll regret in the morning. In conflict, we shout truths we've been hiding for years. Passion feels like authenticity, but authenticity without wisdom is just emotional incontinence. Some thoughts are meant to be felt, not spoken. Some truths are tools, not gifts. Your mouth betrays you because passion makes you forget that not every feeling deserves an audience. Secrets are heavy. They sit in our chests like stones, growing heavier with time. Eventually, the weight becomes unbearable, and we confess, not for the good of others, but for the relief of ourselves. But confession without consideration is just selfish relief. When you tell your partner about the affair, your child about their parentage, your friend about what others really think of them, whose burden are you really lifting? Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is carry the weight alone. Loneliness has its own voice and it's desperate. It shares too much too soon. It mistakes attention for affection, audience for intimacy. When we're lonely, we'll take connection anywhere we can find it, even if it means bleeding our truth onto strangers. Machiavelli never wrote about loneliness, but he understood its cousin, desperation. Desperate people make poor strategists because they'll sacrifice long-term wisdom for short-term comfort. Your mouth betrays you because loneliness makes you forget that not everyone who listens actually cares. We all love being the hero of our own story, or sometimes the tragic protagonist. In our desire to craft the perfect narrative, we reveal the very information that makes us vulnerable. We think we're controlling the story, but the story is controlling us. Every time you explain yourself, justify your choices, or defend your decisions to people who haven't earned that level of access to your inner world, you're giving away power you didn't know you had. Not everyone deserves the story of your scars. Perhaps the cruelest betrayal is this. We open up to people who remind us of home, forgetting that home wasn't always safe. That voice that sounds like your mother's, that energy that feels like your first love, that dynamic that mirrors your family of origin. These familiar patterns trick us into thinking we're safe to be vulnerable. But familiar isn't safe. Familiar is just familiar. And sometimes we're drawn to what hurts us because pain is the only love we learn to recognize. Your mouth betrays you because you're still that child seeking approval from people who were never capable of giving it. Here's what Machiavelli knew but couldn't say in his time. Every time your mouth betrays you, it's not really about strategy or politics or even wisdom. It's about the wounded child inside you, still trying to be seen, still trying to be loved, still trying to matter. We speak our secrets because we hope, desperately, foolishly, beautifully, that this time someone will hear our pain and choose to heal it rather than exploit it. But healing doesn't come from being understood by others. It comes from understanding yourself. So what do you do with this knowledge? How do you protect yourself without closing your heart? How do you stay authentic without being foolish? You learn the difference between sharing and bleeding. You discover that silence can be its own form of strength. You realize that not every person who asks deserves an answer, and not every moment that feels safe actually is. You understand that your truth is sacred. too sacred to scatter carelessly into the world like seeds on rocky ground. The question isn't whether your mouth will betray you again. It will. We're human. We're wounded. We're still learning. The question is, what will you do differently the next time you feel that familiar pull to reveal more than you should? What story are you telling yourself that makes you think this person, this moment, this situation is different? Because somewhere in that story lies your answer. Somewhere in that pattern lies your freedom. If this resonated with you, if you felt that sting of recognition, that moment of "I've been there," I want you to know you're not alone in this journey. Share your experience in the comments below. What situation made you realize your own mouth had betrayed you? What did you learn from it? And if you're ready for more conversations like this, more truth-telling in the darkness, more gentle excavation of the human experience, subscribe and join our community of seekers. Until next time, remember, your voice is powerful. Use it wisely.